Hello, it's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randyrhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.
A figment of your imagination.
Randy Rhodes Show. Turn up your mind.
Oh my God, you bastards! Those your movies, everybody! Hey!
Happy Inauguration Friday, you bastards.
Nobody's into it.
God.
No one's feeling it. No one's feeling good about it. My mother called me so far 3 times today. Oh, God, I feel like I'm watching a funeral. All right, I'll call you back. He went to the tomb. He doesn't even know who's in there. That's the unknown soldier. I don't care. He went to the tomb. And what is she wearing? That Kylie girl. She, Barbara Streisand is Barbara Stanwyck. Kellyanne Conway is Kylie something or other with my mom. I don't know. I was like, I didn't see her outfit. I didn't see it. Then all of a sudden it became a meme. She's an internet meme, Kellyanne Conway is. Did you see this outfit? Oh my God. Somewhere a drum majorette is missing their uniform. Oh, look at this. Look at this outfit. Is that and now it's a meme. They're putting up like pictures of Paddington Bear and Kellyanne Conway with the question that who wore it best. Someone put up an old New England Patriots logo, and they said, did she steal it from the logo? And then somebody has a picture of Molly the American Girl doll and her outfit. She said it was like an outfit for the revolution. This is what it is. Have you seen this? This is unbelievable. That jacket right there, I recognize the purse. I have a thing for cute bags. You should only know. That's a Louis. That's a Louis bag, Louis gloves, except the red of the gloves in the bag don't match the hat, and then it doesn't match the collar on the... It's such a bizarre choice. It's just such a weird choice that she made. I mean, I was going to give Melania points for style until I saw what she wore last night and today. This woman has like terrible taste. All the money in the world cannot buy you taste or class, apparently. I mean, she has the worst taste in the in the universe, and so does Kellyanne. I gotta like. Did you see? Oh, okay. This is where I start. Last night, my heart went out to Mrs. Mike Pence. How could you say that, Randy? Okay, here's how. First of all, she's married to Mike Pence. Okay. She signed up for some talk show host. She married a talk show host from Indiana and ended up in this whirlwind of mung. And I don't think she knows how to cope and deal, as evidenced by last night's dinner. Did you see that dinner where Donald only talked about how fabulous Donald is? It was all about Donald and this incredible movement that Donald built, and Donald is here, and don't worry, I'm here, and I got this, and it's he relitigated the entire election all over. But before he got to that horrible speech that he made last night, I'll tell you about the speech today, what I think happened. But he made this really horrible self-aggrandized. Of course, it was a Donald Trump off the cuff, right? It was so bad, but Melania and Donald, Mike and his wife, whose name I did not bother to learn, second lady, sloppy second. So Melania came in last night wearing this skin tight. Did you see it?
No, I'm sorry I didn't.
Oh my God.
And her name is Karen, by the way.
With a K or a C?
With a K.
With a K. Oh, a regular, normal Indiana Karen.
Yeah, it's not Liza with a Z. Yeah.
Yeah, not even close. Oh, because here's why. Melania came in last night wearing this skin tight, they call it bodycon, a bodycon silhouette, which means nothing is left to the imagination. Not anything. Not the Chucky, not the Bunda, not the Tetons. No, it's all, there. And I could even see the Spanx line. Because she's in her 40s now. She should not be wearing this kind of gear. However, she chose for her ensemble last night this floor-length, skin-tight, nude sequin dress. And made this entrance with Donald and Mr. and Mrs. Pence. And poor Karen Pence walked out looking like Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm. She's not a small girl. She's not a large girl somewhere. I'd say she's a 14, 16, which is already you're flirting with plus. Okay? You're out of the junior section. You're in the Missy. And she walks out in this white Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm eyelet dress with a belt right across the non-existent waistline. Oh, it made Donald Trump's cummerbund look flattering. Donald Trump looked like an MC last night. He did not look presidential at all. He looked like an MC of, The Apprentice. I mean, he looked like what he is, a reality TV star. But poor Karen Pence walking out in this Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm, white dress with a belted waist and a flouncy sort of a sleeve. And then you could see she had her hair done. She had put on had professional makeup, spray painted upon her. She tried. And, I used to be a 14. I used to be, And so I know how hard it is to find a dress when you're, flirting, you're right on the cusp of plus. I have reached out to, so many stylists, to help me to form an outfit so that I could go to things like the Human Rights Dinner and, all these other events when I was living in Washington. But, oh, my God, my heart sank for her. I really felt her pain. So I must say, I'm so sorry that for the next, year, I'm guessing, you're going to have to be side by side with a woman who does not know she's 47 and shouldn't be wearing skin-tight nude dresses. There it is. Look at these two. Right there, you knew. Pence is going to backstab Donald Trump so hard just for this one occasion, just for making his wife. And this photo that's on the screen now is very flattering for Karen Pence because you can't see the full obnoxiousness of the white dress. But look at Melania. I mean, seriously, really, honey. She reminds me of one of the housewives of Beverly Hills, not a first lady. Do you know what I mean? All right, so I digress. So then Kellyanne Conway shows up in this nitwit outfit today, claiming this is her outfit for the revolution. And somebody actually asked her, like from Women's Wear Daily, who are you wearing? What is that? She said, oh, it's just Gucci. So I look it up. $3,600 for that jacket. Oh, get a refund. Bring it back. I hope you didn't take the tags off, really. That wouldn't even make it on Rent the Runway. That would just sit there on that web. Nobody would rent that. Nobody would want to rewear. Oh, it was so bad. Anyway, I'm killing time here a little bit because I think we may have elected Bane as president of the United States from Batman Dark Knight Rising. I'm not sure, but we may have because this inauguration address, a lot of entertainment writers have been noticing ever since he gave it just a few brief hours ago. I love a parade. Now we're into the parade, right? I don't see him getting out of the car. I don't. 95 protesters, by the way, have been arrested so far. There will be more protesters in Washington tomorrow than there were people at the inaugural. Did you see all the empty VIP seats? Oh, my God. And the mall was not nearly full. It was so empty. You could see the white canvas the tarp that they put down for people that want to attend. I mean, you couldn't give tickets away to this thing. In fact, scalpers took a bath. It was amazing. However, Donald Trump's speech. I'm going to play you just a brief portion. It's going to make your skin crawl. Now you're going to have to choose. This is either from the collected works of Huey Long, or this is Bane's speech in Batman Rising. Okay.
Chief Justice Roberts.
Who had to write it down on a piece of paper. Now, how hard was that to administer the oath?
President Carter, President Clinton, President Bush, President Obama, fellow Americans, and people of the world, thank you.
People of the world, thank you.
We, the citizens of America,
thank the Russian Confederacy,
are now joined in a great national effort to rebuild our country and restore its promise for all of our people.
All right.
Together, we will determine the course of America and the world for many, many years to come. We will face challenges We will confront hardships, but we will get the job done. Every 4 years, we gather on these steps to carry out the orderly and peaceful transfer of power.
From what to what, though?
And we are grateful to President Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama.
Okay, see, this part scared me, see, because the Air Force started moving in. Did you see this? The Air Force started moving in. Apparently, it started to rain the minute he opened his mouth, and so they wanted to dispatch the Umbrella Corps.
For their gracious aid throughout this transition. They have been magnificent. Thank you.
See, at this point, Obama thinks that he's going to actually, get some accolades for what a tough job it is in being commander in chief, and only you could know something I'm about to find out. And thank you for your being available to me. And no. Instead, we downshift into Bain's speech at the stadium.
Today's ceremony, however, has very special meaning, because today we are not merely transferring power from one administration to another or from one party to another, but we are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, the people. For too long, a small group in our nation's capital has reaped the rewards of government while the people have borne the cost. Washington flourished, but the people did not share in its wealth. Politicians prospered, but the jobs left and the factories closed. The establishment protected itself, but not the citizens of our country. Their victories have not been your victories. Their triumphs have not been your triumphs. And while they celebrated in our nation's capital, there was little to celebrate for struggling families all across our land.
Empty.
That all changes starting right here and right now, because this moment is your moment. It belongs to you.
Okay, so that's, that sounds like something Huey Long or, Socialist Workers Party person or, even a Democrat, Bernie Sanders could have delivered that same, but not in those words, though. Okay, you don't sit there and insult the government that you're about to work with to make things better by saying that they are a bunch of crooks and thieves who have stolen from the American people, and that their victories were not your victories, and that you suckers, went along with, an open government. You went along with, a democratic government. You went along, meaning of small d, democracy, where, the House of Representatives introduces tax legislation and the Senate confirms the nominee, whatever. Okay. Here's Bain from Dark Knight Rising's speech, okay? Bain said, "We take Gotham from the corrupt, the rich, the oppressors of generations who have kept you down with myths of opportunity, and we give it back to you, the people. Gotham is yours." I mean, it's like this, none shall interfere. Do as you please. So I think we may have, elected Bain. I'm not completely sure, where he got this speech from, but he loves a blockbuster, I must say. This was fascinating. This was just absolutely fascinating. That Kellyanne Conway's outfit, Melania's, it was just, but this was all about the people. It's all about the people. That was the most references to the people in any speech delivered ever outside of Red Square. I have never in my life, all that was missing from this was the fatherland. Do you know? It was platitudes. There was no plan there. There was no nothing. There was nothing inspirational about it. It was like, it wasn't inspiring. It was like de-inspiring, like despairing. That's it. Despairing is what it was. It was the grimmest inauguration speech in American history. I mean, Abe Lincoln was more upbeat in the middle of the Civil War. You know, by the time Abe Lincoln was sworn in, I think eight states had already seceded. You know, and he was more upbeat than this guy. That's because he had to stay on script. And I think his speechwriter, Steve Miller, is a big fan of Batman Rising, I must say, although I think Bannon probably added his 2 cents. And then, you know, he invoked God because, you know, it's mandatory. So he said, we will be protected by God. Don't be afraid. He actually had to say in his speech, don't be afraid. Because I think he understands we are terrified of him. He said, don't be afraid. You will be protected by God. But I thought the way he said it, the inflection implied that God was him. So that creeped me out. So the big takeaway is the guy who gives speeches about the workers, okay, the guy who gives speeches about the people puts up Steve Mnuchin to head Treasury. A guy who foreclosed on more people than probably any other human being that we've ever seen under oath in Congress. You know? We finally got a Wall Street guy, except they're going to put him in charge of Treasury. You know, so it's morning in America, everybody. A dreary, dark, rainy, slushy, cold, dank morning. Okay, but we'll be here. We'll stay and fight. Stay and fight. Hashtag stay and fight.
The Randi Rhodes Air Force. Air Force. RandiRhodes.com.
Which leaves.
Now that Trump's on his way to the White House, how long do you think it's going to take him and his Wall Street cronies to completely wreck our economy? This Trump administration is greedy, full of avarice, and awful, and the damage they're going to do to the economy will become legend. They are going to make the financial crisis of 2008 look like a pool party. And once again, working class Americans, you're going to get soaked. And that's why now more than ever, it's time to diversify your investment portfolio. Gold's low correlation with stocks and bonds can help you in times of uncertainty. Just call my friends at ITM Trading today, get a free gold kit, and learn why gold survives every government, every currency, and every economic crisis. Call ITM Trading at 1-888-OWN-GOLD for guidance from their precious metals experts. They've helped tens of thousands of people navigate this market, and they have the best reputation in this industry. So call 1-888-OWN-GOLD, 1-888-OWN-GOLD.
I'm Rick Smith, and this is Labor History in 2. On this day in labor history, the year was 1986. That was the first time Dr. Martin Luther King Day was observed as a national holiday. A powerful voice for civil rights, Dr. King was assassinated in 1968 in Memphis, Tennessee, while standing on the second floor of the Lorraine Motel. He was in Memphis standing up for the rights of black garbage collectors. Dr. King gave his life supporting those fighting for union recognition. Throughout his work as a civil rights leader, Dr. King spoke powerfully of the importance of unions. Addressing a group of Teamsters in 1967, he said, "Union recognition meant the real beginning. Union meant strength, and recognition meant the employer's acknowledgement of that strength." Perhaps his most stirring reflections on the labor movement came in a speech he delivered to the AFL-CIO in Springfield, Illinois in 1965. King said, "The two most dynamic movements that reshaped the nation during the past 3 decades are the labor and civil rights movements. Our combined strength is potentially enormous. We have not used a fraction of it for our own good or for the need of society as a whole. If we make the war on poverty a total war, if we seek higher standards for all workers for an enriched life, we have the ability to accomplish it, and our nation has the ability to provide it. If our two movements unite their social pioneering initiative 30 years from now, people will look back on this day and honor those who had the vision to see the full possibilities of modern society and the courage to fight for their realization. On that day, the Brotherhood of Man, undergirded by economic security, will be a thrilling and creative reality.
For a commercial-free, on-demand, whenever, wherever listening experience, visit randyrhodes.com for your personal premium podcast today.
These are just and reasonable demands of righteous people and a righteous public. But for too many of our citizens, a different reality exists. Mothers and children trapped in poverty in our inner cities, rusted out factories scattered like tombstones across the landscape of our nation, an education system flush with cash, which leaves our young and beautiful students deprived of all knowledge, and the crime and the gangs and the drugs that have stolen too many lives and robbed our country of so much unrealized potential. This American carnage stops right here and stops right now.
Oh, our American carnage under Barack Obama is going to stop right here and right now. All the drugs and all the everything. It all stops right here, right now. Because God has been inaugurated. And I got to tell you, there it was on the front page of the New York Times this morning, below and after all the blaring headlines about the inauguration. Quote, intercepted Russian communications, part of inquiry into Trump associates. So, as Trump was campaigning, and he says you can't elect Crooked Hillary because Crooked Hillary will be under investigation as she's sworn in, taking the oath of office. Guess what? Donald J. Trump is under investigation by the FBI and 6 other intelligence and justice organizations as he was sworn in. Oh, my God. Yep. The story about the Trump-Russia investigation, it's like a little aside in the dialogue. It was a barely noticed moment in the first act. But the first act always sets up the crisis at the end that brings the protagonist down. It's like, a Chekhov play where he says, if there's a gun in the first scene, then that gun's got to go off before the play is over. This newspaper article, I tweeted it out last night because that's when it actually hit the press. But, the paper didn't hit the driveway until this morning. This newspaper article in the New York Times that's talking about, Paul Manafort. It's talking about Roger Stone. It's talking about Carter Page. All those people that we brought up, all those people I said, I don't think that they're done. I don't think, this investigation into those people is over. I think it's ongoing. Well, now it turns out there are Russian intercepts, meaning there's audio. I can't wait. I'm so excited. So you have a president that was sworn in today who is currently under investigation by the Director of National Intelligence, the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, who did the recording. This is going to be the craziest part. The craziest part. Now, the best part about these investigations is, as you know, the entire cabinet was dismissed as the new president was sworn in. So we don't really have anybody in charge of anything right now except Comey over at FBI. Everybody else is gone. We really don't have anybody in charge because nobody's been confirmed for Trump's cabinet. Isn't that something? No one. That's because he's putting up the most conflicted, most dishonest, most thieving, foreclosure kings, bankruptcy kings, privatization kings and queens. It's just unbelievable. So, the story of the inauguration is going to fade. It'll be trampled, actually, by the Women's March tomorrow, where there will be more protesters in D.C. than there were people, trying to watch this inaugural today. But the story of the Trump-Russia connection, it's going to grow like kudzu, man. That thing is just going to sprout a life of its own. And here's the cool part. Trump obviously is going to put his own people in charge of all those agencies except for the FBI, where it's an unknown whether Comey will continue. He's only 3 years into his 10-year term. So we don't know if he'll continue or not. But that means that with all the other agencies, he has the power to stop or obstruct many of these investigations. And that right there, my friends, is the thing that will bring him down. Don't do it, Donald. It's a trap. It's a trap. Don't do it. Don't. Ooh. All right. Linwood in Charlottesville. Hi.
Hey, Randy, what's going on?
You.
Well, thank you. I watched the speech. I watched the inauguration. My mother asked me, Linwood, are you going to watch it? I'm like, Mama, I'm only going to watch the independent media, and that's it.
Oh, check
I was
this out.
watching on the Real News.
Yeah, Captain Leary said he couldn't watch it. He tried. He got up early this morning. He turned on the TV, and then he turned it off. He said he couldn't
do it.
Couldn't do it. He's wearing all black today, obviously. And Howard, okay, check this out. Howard sat on my desk, and was watching me watch it on the computer so I could capture it. And he said, Rand, I can't. I'm going to the DMV. I said, are you telling me you would rather go to the DMV than watch Trump be? He said, yes, I would rather be at the DMV. And that's where he went this morning.
I was like, okay, I'm going to accept this and listen to our leader and see what he has to say. Mm-hmm. All he said was the fact that, I do agree that we got closed factories, but the way he said it is like everything was just under this president the last 8 years. Hell, let's go even further. Presidents before him, everything was just doom and gloom. Washington did this to the people. The people got left behind. This is going to stop today. And he threw the cities in the gutter like the cities were just in a hellhole.
Well, that's how he sees our cities. And it's funny because he lives in New York. He lives in Gotham. And he should know that our inner cities are not hell. This is not the South Bronx 1977, okay? This is 2017, and, cities that he trashed like Atlanta are shining cities on the hill. They are testaments to a rising, wealthy, middle-class African-American city. I mean, New York is the same thing. I don't understand. I live in a gated community, and many of my neighbors are people of color. I don't know what he's talking about.
It's just what came off to me, it was just like, this man has a very doom and gloom world of a country, and so does most of his supporters. His supporters talk like that. I've talked to some of his reporters, and they're nothing makes them happy. They're angry. They have vitriol. Even when you come with facts and be civil with them, they are just the most hateful, the most prejudiced, the most anti-government people out there. And it's like, what's the problem with the government? That you pay taxes to it. So if you hate the government, stop paying taxes to it. Stop.
Yeah, listen, these are people that blame other people for their lot in life. That's what it is. This is like I said, this could have been a speech by Huey Long or any great labor movement. I mean, it was amazing in this way. It could have been delivered by any Democratic president. It could have been delivered by Bernie Sanders. It could have been delivered by, any Democratic person that could have won the election. Do you know? I mean, they all believe that we need to, reinvest in America. Everybody's been trying to get an infrastructure bill passed. Everybody, but Donald Trump is not your guy. Yeah, and the way you know this is Mnuchin actually offshored the investors' money that he got from foreclosing at One West Bank. I mean, we just had a hearing yesterday where.
Oh God, the hearings all week.
Oh my God, I
couldn't stomach it. Betsy DeVos has no clue about education.
No,
she looks at the inner cities as if they're just a wasteland.
She looks at the inner city of Detroit as a way to get public school money into her company. So, and Mnuchin, the same thing. He looked at his business as a way to get money into his company, foreclosed on 36,000 elderly people with the utmost cruelty, no less. I mean, robo-signing and cheating people, and people who missed their payments by 3 cents were foreclosed on. People who wrote personal checks were foreclosed on, even though they were making the payments because he wanted a cashier's check. I mean, the way that he did it. And now we're finding out Sears is also a Mnuchin company, and that he invested in Sears and he's taking it bankrupt. And that's going to cost us thousands and thousands and thousands of jobs.
And I used to work for them.
Right.
I used to work for them. And they're now on the brink of default, and it won't be long until.
And also,
I'll give it to July.
Yes, and also we found out that the only thing that Sears ever had that Sears currently has of value is $100 million worth of real estate, and Steve Mnuchin has it in an offshore account in the Cayman Islands.
This, I like I told Howard, before the show started, I said, be prepared. There's going to be a war. Anytime Republicans get in power, there's going to be invasion of the Middle East. There's going to be war here in America. I'm not going to the extremes, but you mark what I tell you. We already are divided by I told you in previous conversations we've had, racial lines, geographical lines, and it's just getting worse.
Yeah. I don't feel a feeling in this country that we transferred power to another president who will do it.
We went to a nightmare. We went to a nightmare.
I just people didn't even attend the inauguration. I mean, I saw how empty it was. It was really it's sad.
It was laughable. It was laughable.
It's sad, and like I said, there'll be more people in Washington tomorrow than there was today at the inaugural. The Women's March. It's going to be huge.
Yes.
And they've already started protesting. 95 people already arrested in Washington, D.C. It looks like fascism. It looks bad.
I was watching it, and I was like, man, I told my banker, I said, I'm getting really scared. Me and my girlfriend were supposed to go to Prince Williams County and do some shopping. I said, honey, let's just stay down south because I don't think it's a good idea.
What did Trump know and when did he know it? This New York Times article, this front page article that says they have audio, they have intercepts, okay, from Russian government people, with Trump associates like Manafort and Roger Stone and Carter Page. This is really just the beginning. Truly, it's going to be an amazing year. It's going to be insane.
Randy, when you was mentioning that, I said to myself, I wouldn't put that out right now, knowing that this man just got in, that they have actual audio of Trump surrogates sitting down with Russian spies or Russian hackers or conspirators of any kind. Because now this guy's getting into power. This guy can shut down that.
The phone calls were between the Russian Federal Security Service and some of the president's past and present advisors. And they specifically named Paul Manafort, Carter Page, and Roger Stone, who, by the way, Roger Stone, I don't know what just happened there. Roger Stone is claiming that he's been poisoned by polonium. Do you know that? He went on InfoWars. He went on, that InfoWars, piece of trash, and he said that he's been poisoned by polonium. And he lays out his case and says the American government poisoned him with polonium, which is a very Russian thing to do to spies, poison them with polonium. But yeah, he says that. So anyway, this audio that is being reported out by the New York Times last night says the counterintelligence investigation centers, at least in part, on the business dealings that some of the president, they're calling him the president-elect because this was written last night, but he's now the president, and president advisors have had with Russia. Mr. Manafort has done business in Ukraine and Russia. Some of his contacts there were under surveillance by the National Security Agency, the NSA, for suspected links to Russia's Federal Security Service, one of the officials said. Mr. Manafort is among at least 3 Trump campaign advisors whose possible links to Russia are under scrutiny. The 2 others are Carter Page, a businessman and former foreign policy advisor to the campaign, and Roger Stone, a longtime Republican operative. The FBI is leading the investigations, aided by the National Security Agency, the CIA, and Mnuchin's soon-to-be Treasury Department's Financial Crimes Unit. This might explain why Mnuchin, okay? This is amazing. Check this out. This is a clip just from his hearing yesterday.
I had a different line of questioning, but I have to be honest with you, the information that came to us this morning makes me concerned. You've addressed some of it, but not all of it. On December 19th of last year, you signed a notarized affidavit on your questionnaire to the Finance Committee, certifying that it was true, accurate, and complete. Question 11 of this questionnaire asks nominees to, quote, list all positions held as an officer, director, trustee, partner, proprietor, agent, representative, consultant of any corporation, company, firm, partnership, other business enterprise, or educational or other institution. That seems to be pretty pervasive. So it's almost like an open book test. And yet, you did not answer in that questionnaire listing your position as director of a Cayman Islands corporation.
Oh, my God.
As manager, chairman, and director of 8 additional shell corporations.
Oh, my God.
And holding companies, and nearly $100 million in real estate.
He neglected to tell them in his disclosure forms that he's got $100 million worth of real estate offshore, that he is the director of a Cayman Islands tax avoidance shell company, and 8 others. He forgot to tell them. And he blamed his staff, Mnuchin did. He said, oh, I'm sorry, my staff sometimes, and somebody's reporting, I don't know if this is true, that he has Tourette's syndrome, Mnuchin does. Either that or he needs a vowel movement. Something's wrong. All right, John in Fort Worth, Texas.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm all right.
It's been interesting listening to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to say thanks for all the info and other things.
You're welcome.
Besides that, I'm a resident of Texas, as you know.
I see this.
And I just want to voice my opinion on this, whatever it is, inauguration.
Yes.
For me, and many people like me, it's turned back at least 50 years, I imagine.
To FDR or to like a Woodrow Wilson-ish thing? Like how far back?
Well, let's say about 20 years.
So
about 1970s.
That's 40 years.
Oh, is it 40?
Oh,
Okay.
John, time goes so fast. I know. Sometimes I sit there and I say, oh, here's a photo of me from like 1988. And I sit there and I do the math and I went, 98, 2008, 2000. It's almost 30 years ago. Yeah, it goes fast.
that's
Blink of an
getting up
eye,
there.
baby. Blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Yep. So what do
Well,
you
I try
think?
not to watch this thing, but
But
I
you're in
watch it when I
Texas,
turn
aren't
you on.
But isn't Texas celebrating? I mean, Fort Worth, stockyards, aren't you throwing down or having a good time there?
No, they are, but I'm not. I'm at home.
So you're not keen on Trump, I guess. Not a fan? Is that what you're saying? All right then. John had to go to a meeting. CJ in Phoenix.
Hey, Randy, long time. How are you, ma'am?
I'm fine, sir.
Good. So don't be mistaken. The administration is already working to hurt middle class and, frankly, all Americans. Within an hour of his inauguration, he has rescinded the FHA MIP premium cuts that were scheduled to go into effect on Wednesday.
Oh, so that's nice. So he just attacked, homeowners. Great.
Everybody who has an FHA mortgage who could refinance, it was a 1/4 point reduction in the monthly insurance premium. I'm in the mortgage industry. I'm a manager.
Oh, great.
And we just lost 3 clients.
Oh, tell me what this really means in real life to real people.
Anywhere from $50 to $300 a month in savings.
No way.
Depends on the size of the mortgage, yeah.
So you're saying that people who have FHA loans were supposed...
People who currently have FHA loans, as it is, it wouldn't change it. But people who are now in the process of buying homes, people who are in the process of refinancing, could reduce their premium by, again, $50 to $500, depending on the size of the loan, because the premium is going down from 0.85.
Wait. When you say premium, are you talking about the mortgage payment or?
Yeah, FHA has when you take out an FHA loan, you have an upfront premium.
Okay.
And then each month you pay a mortgage insurance premium. That's your MIP, your mortgage insurance.
Is that PMI?
That's the federal PMI. Yes.
Okay, got it.
And that's on all FHA loans.
All right.
And they bumped up the numbers several years back to refund the FHA fund account.
Okay.
And based on the analysis, Secretary Castro and the Obama administration had determined that it was already funded, and they could in turn reduce those rates. And so they made this analysis and made the decision that it was going to go into effect on the 26th of January.
Okay.
It was actually brought up in hearings, and Ben Carson said they were going to reanalyze it, but they hadn't made a decision. And today, within an hour, HUD sent out an announcement saying that was being indefinitely suspended.
Wow. Now, there's a term I never understood. What does indefinitely suspended mean? Doesn't that mean you're fired? Yeah. Wow, that's really something. That and let me tell you that I was just saying to Captain Leary and to Howard that we have to be like super vigilant this weekend to see what executive orders get signed, if any, and what changes get made under the rug, under the radar, while everybody's partying, what he tweets tonight when he's all alone with his own damn self in the Lincoln bedroom where he says he's going to spend the night. You know, like what the hell does he do when no one's looking? Because everybody's looking at the parade now. So that's an interesting little factoid you just gave me.
Thought you might like that.
I like that. Thank you. Well, I mean, I hate it, but
I thought you agreed.
Yeah, but thanks, CJ. It's an indication of what's to come. I mean, there's tons of executive. You know what I worry about the most? DACA. I worry about the Dreamers. I worry about sanctuary cities also. I worry, sanctuary city. What is a sanctuary city? It just means you can't be arrested simply because you don't have papers. You have to commit a crime before you could be arrested. That being here without papers isn't reason enough to put you in jail. Well, if he rescinds that executive order, ICE can go crazy. Really, they can do raids of people's homes, especially DACA, the DACA people, because those dreamers, the young kid, they registered, so everybody's name is known. That's what he was referring to on the campaign trail. He said, our police know where these people are. That's what Donald Trump was saying over and over again. And the cops know where they are. Yeah, because they registered.
All things Randy at RandyRhodes.com.
Go for launch.
Speaking truth to power, The Randy Rhodes Show.
You're listening to WIN, Workers Independent News, a diversified media enterprises production. I'm Doug Cunningham.
I believe in this moment we can make our tomorrows. I believe in the girls who came before us, who made history. I believe in dreams, hard work and equality.
An historic women's march on Washington will draw at least 200,000 people standing together in diversity and solidarity for protection of our rights on Saturday, January 21st. Organizers say the Women's March on Washington will send a bold message to our new administration on their first day in office, and also to the world that women's rights are human rights. We stand together, recognizing that defending the most marginalized among us is defending all of us. Here are some women who are going to the Women's March who posted videos on YouTube explaining why they are attending the march.
To stand up for what we believe in, which is women's rights, which are also human rights. It is not to protest the current administration, but it is to stand in solidarity with our sisters, and we're hoping there's going to be at least 500,000 of us.
Hey everyone, I'm Sabrina, and I am going to the March on Washington. Too many Americans and too many men and women are in a place where they feel like they can't breathe. They feel like their basic human rights and dignity are being disrespected.
My voice is the future. This is going to be my first demonstration. I'm marching for women's equal rights.
My name's Kate Parkin. I am marching for my Black friends.
And that question here was corrected only
for my friends in the LGBTQ community.
Because I'm a reproductive health care provider, and this administration, this current political milieu has just completely abandoned science. And so I had to go to DC and be there to argue for women's reproductive rights and for getting back to a scientific basis in our policy.
I knew that I wanted to stand with other women and be a presence to show that we're fighters and we're not going to give in to oppression, to not being recognized as full citizens.
We don't want your tiny hands anywhere near our underpants. We don't want your tiny hands anywhere near our underpants.
Till we're one, we'll march for you. A million strong, we'll fight for you. We'll shatter the ceiling and break on through.
Brought to you by the California Teachers Association, 325,000 educators who know quality public schools make a better California for all of us. Information on California teachers is online at cta.org.
You've been listening to WIN, Workers Independent News. For more information, visit laborradio.org.
The Randy Rhodes Show is brought to you by our partners at ITM Trading. Call them at 1-888-OWN-GOLD and ask for a free gold kit. 1-888-OWN-GOLD.
The Randy Rhodes Show is live on randyrhodes.com and the free Progressive Voices app for Android and iOS. Visit the App Store or progressivevoices.com now.
Wow, this hour went really super fast. Let's go to Coach in Indiana.
Randy, hey, it's Coach. How are you?
Hi, how are you? Got a year. We'll start the clock ticking.
Sweet. Hey, just call and check in on you. Make sure the world didn't come to an end over your way. All good over here.
It's the end of the world as I know it. Yeah, it did.
I know. That's what everybody was saying. But,
Yeah,
I mean,
it
I
is.
held on tight at noon o'clock just to make sure I wouldn't disintegrate, and everything's fine.
It's not like a Y2K thing, is it?
I don't know. I mean, that's what I've been asking people. Like, is this going to happen instantaneously that the world's going to come to an end, or
No,
is it
the
going to
world-
happen over time?
It is the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of democracy. The idea that he's putting in these hedge fund managers, people who are, the CEO of the Cayman Islands Investment Fund as the Treasury Secretary, Betsy DeVos, who has never taught a day at school, never sent her kids to public school, never went to a public school, a billionaire who destroyed Detroit's things are coming to an end. And this last caller, I don't know if you heard him, but one of the first strokes of a pen just wiped out a reduction in mortgage rates for people closing on homes this weekend. So I think their world just came to an end. He said that he just lost 3 clients who are about to have their first home.
What's interesting, though, is especially granted, there's a lot of different divisions, obviously, but the whole, education one starting there, it's funny to hear people, scream and shout, and because quite honestly, I haven't talked to one person in the past 8 years that's been happy with the education system. I mean, what's your thoughts on that? Were you happy with the education system, how it was?
I like core. I like Common Core. I like STEM. I like the focusing on science and math. I like that we're encouraging girls to become engineers. There are definitely problems in places where there's no property tax to collect, but the answer isn't to take the last bit of money out of those public schools and create non-accountable for-profit charter schools. So, yeah, there's a problem in various places where property taxes are non-existent because people don't live there anymore, except for the people who couldn't flee because they didn't have the funds. But public school is the answer. To defund the public school in favor of private, unaccountable, for-profit charters, that's hardly on my horizon as a solution.
Sure. No, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. Obviously,
it'll be interesting, but the sad part is the kids are going to be the hamsters. They'll be the lab rats.
Yeah, but I think again, all these problems that I keep hearing that
I know, but
Trump
Thomas
has caused,
Jefferson obviously believed in public education. I went to public school. My parents went to public school. I don't know what your situation is, but
I'm a public school kid.
Okay, and we turned out okay. So I don't think the answer is to destroy public schools, as envisioned by one of the greatest presidents we ever had. I think the answer is to support those public schools in a way that's different from property taxes, or augment their positions in the community with federal money. And what was really interesting in his speech, when he referred to the education system, he said it was flush with cash. That was interesting. That was a tell. I'm just telling you, Coach, keep your eye on him. Just keep your eye on him.
Oh, I definitely will. Obviously we don't have a choice, but like I said, just call and check on everybody's well-being.
Well, thanks for your sarcasm. Thanks for making me take a salt bath while I'm wounded. I appreciate all that love.
Absolutely. I got to keep you accountable, Randy. And
I get
I'm still
hey, man.
I'm still waiting for dinner if he doesn't get impeached now.
I hear you. Every time you call, don't you get bumped up to the front of the line? Don't we take care of you?
Absolutely.
There you go.
I appreciate it.
All right, sir.
All right. Thanks, Randy. Have a good one.
You too. Bye, Coach.
Bye-bye.
Bye. That's who I have the bet with. I have a bet. We have to buy, the other one dinner. I say that Trump will not, complete 4 years, and he says he will. And so, Ruth Chris is starting to sound really good to me. Okay, Yvette in Colorado.
Hi, Randy. How are you?
Hey, babe. I hear you.
I felt like I was watching a funeral.
That's what my mother said. That's what my mother said.
And
yeah.
And then to watch these Republicans when he trashed them kiss his ass.
I know.
Afterwards, when the reporters go, "Don't you think he, do you think he, brought the America together?" "Oh, I think he did a great job." They were kissing his ass.
I know, and he was trashing them, saying that they made money off of their government positions while America suffered, and that all comes to an end today. We'll see. Listen, I'll tell you.
It's all going to be the same.
I'll tell you something. If anything that he said about the middle class or the people who are hurting was true, I would embrace him with both arms.
Exactly.
But he lied. Exactly. He lied today. He lied so hard because you can see his cabinet, the worst cabinet ever put together, the most conflicted cabinet, the richest cabinet, people with tax havens in the Caymans and in Anguilla. I mean, it's unbelievable. People without any experience overseeing the agencies that they've been hired to oversee. People who wanted to destroy the EPA, in charge of the EPA. People who want to destroy the Department of Education, in charge of education. People who want to destroy the Fed, in charge of the Treasury. I mean, it's so... What he does and what he says are two different things. Listen, if I didn't know anything about him and I just heard that speech today, I would say, wow, America just elected a president that's really going to focus on the middle class. But that's not who we elected, and everybody knows it. So there you have it. One after?
The Randi Rhodes Air Force. The Randi Rhodes Show is live on RandiRhodes.com and the free Progressive Voices app for Android and iOS. Visit the App Store or ProgressiveVoices.com now.
Okay, you know what my favorite snack is, right? Yeah, it's jerky, but it's herky jerky. It's not the kind of jerky you can find at the gas station. You can't find it at the supermarket. No. This comes in elk, buffalo, beef, and bacon. Yes, bacon. Hot, mild, 14 other incredible flavors. And the people at Herky Jerky said that it's been a huge hit for Randi listeners, the bacon. So they're going to offer $7 off each pack of bacon jerky for the rest of January, 20% off the regular price. That offer is for you guys only, Randi Rhodes listeners only. Just type in Randi in the promo code section during your checkout and you'll get the discount. There's beef, there's elk, there's venison, and of course there's bacon sticks too. These are the most amazing things you've ever had. The sticks have the right bite to them. The flavor is amazing. They're delicious and they're fresh every single time. The bacon is a slab that you can use on BLTs, put on salads, or just munch right out of the big bag. But now, because you loved it so much, for Randi Rhodes listeners, $7 off each bag at checkout. Type in promo code Randi at Herky Jerky.
Here's what's happening on the Leslie Marshall Show on the Progressive Voices Network. Nicholas Wapshott. Nicholas is opinion editor of Newsweek. There are now more concerns among insurance agencies, certainly concerns among those who have the insurance, nearly 20 million who signed up for Obamacare. And looking just at numbers, that repealing the Affordable Care Act could raise costs and raise the number of the uninsured. And this isn't just something Democrats are saying. It's not just partisan. It's actually a new report.
The only thing that you can replace Obamacare with is another version of Obamacare. The difference is, of course, is that it'll be called Trump Care, and the Republicans will own it. That means that anything to do with health care that goes wrong, the Republicans will own. For the last 8 years, or at least 7 years, since Obamacare has been in, the Democrats have taken the blame for every last thing that went wrong.
Is Donald Trump, blowing smoke up all our butts when he says, nobody will be without insurance, there'll be no gaps, everybody will be insured, nobody will lose their coverage? Impossible, correct?
I think it's going to be very difficult, very, very difficult indeed. And of course, he has a different sort of view about the truth to the rest of us. So I don't really blame him as a liar, because I'm not sure that he sort of sets out to mislead people, because he does in many respects. But in this case, I think that he really hopes that it's possible there's a system that sort of seamlessly goes from the old system into the new Trump care. But it ain't going to happen. We know that this is some of the more complex legislation that's ever come before Congress, and to unpick it and then to replace it with something near identical
to do with taxes.
Well, first of all, it's a waste of time largely. They would be much better off taking Obamacare and amending it rather than going back to a greenfield site and building all over again. There are going to be lots of people hurt in this, and they're going to scream very loudly. And the people who will get blamed are the Republicans, who won't like it. But there you are. They set out because, first of all, they named the Affordable Care Act after Obama. They nicknamed it Obama Care, which, of course, Obama then took as a sort of red badge of courage and started calling it Obamacare himself. But it was absolutely the same problem that the Republicans had with Obama all along. They don't like him for reasons which are sort of self-evident if you look at a photograph of Obama. They don't like a man like Obama being their president. They tried to smear the whole of the health care by calling it Obamacare, and now what can they do but get rid of it and replace it with Trump care? But it's not going to be easy. It's going to be very painful, very hurtful. They're going to suffer as a result for it. It's going to be very interesting to see. One of the great things about this great nation is the fact that democracy continues. There's never an end to it, and in which case we're already fighting the midterms. So the battle over the replacement for Obamacare will be the number one topic in 2 years' time when we go to vote about who we should have in the Congress. And all of those people who lined up in order to get rid of Obamacare and replace it with what they hope is going to be better are going to find that the replacement is every bit as disheveled and uncomfortable to them as Obamacare was. They're going to have some trouble.
This is not a repealed plan or a replaced plan. It is a plan that they're keeping the best parts of and getting rid of some of the parts they're uncomfortable with. Premiums will double by 2026, and 32 million will lose insurance by the year 2020. So the bottom line is this is not going to make things better, and all the polls show that majority of people don't want this plan to be scrapped. They want it to be improved. Catch my show, The Leslie Marshall Show, Monday to Friday on the Progressive Voices Network.
Hi, we're back. And everything is possible again. Isn't it beautiful? Well, if you want to keep it this way, buy a stinking podcast. Oh, yes, you have to buy a stinking podcast. And you get that at randyrhodes.com, where we're open all day, all night long. randyrhodes.com. Get your stinking podcast.
Mary had a little man. The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon.
I have a dream today.
Change has come to America.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Turn up your mind.
January 20th, 2017 will be remembered as the day the people became the rulers of this nation again.
Oh, my God.
The crime and the gangs and the drugs that have stolen too many lives and robbed our country of so much unrealized potential. This American carnage stops right here and stops right now. From this day forward, it's going to be only America first. America first. Protection will lead to great prosperity and strength. I will fight for you with every breath in my body, and I will never, ever let you down. Through our loyalty to our country, we will rediscover our loyalty to each other. When you open your heart to patriotism, there is no room for prejudice. We will no longer accept politicians who are all talk and no action, constantly complaining, but never doing anything about it.
That would be the GOP.
It's time to remember that old wisdom our soldiers will never forget, that whether we are black or brown or white, we all bleed the same red blood of patriots. And yes, together, we will make America great again. Thank you. God bless you.
And there's a real American right there on the screen. See him? He looks so thrilled to have inaugurated this man. I listen, if he meant half of what he said in that speech, good for us. But I doubt it. And I doubt it because the cabinet he put together tells me he is not interested in Americans or America. He's not, it was interesting when he said, the Department of Education, the educators flush with cash. And yet we have the stupidest people. It's just like, really? All right. Alan in New York City.
Hi, Randy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm looking at Kellyanne's
outfit.
Uniform.
Yes, the uniform of the revolution.
Do you remember Reagan had, I forgot the cabinet member's name, but she was head of the health, and she used to wear a military outfit as well. I forgot her name. But anyway, I also noticed I didn't watch the inauguration today, but I did watch his speech last night, and I did watch a couple when he went to the White House to meet the Obamas.
Yeah.
He's saluting the military.
Yeah.
He doesn't know that the president's not supposed to do it. What I'm afraid of, I think you're going to lose your bet because I think he's going to have a military takeover.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. Oh, no.
I wanted to, something with the Republicans. You know Chanute Air Force Base?
Yeah.
I'm sure you were there.
No, never.
Okay, it was a major training, as you know, major training Air Force Base in Illinois, and they shut it down. President Reagan and Bush shut it down, and they closed it to save money. And I was working in the area at the time, and I was watching the local news, and they interviewed a dry cleaner who was going to obviously lose his business because the Air Force Base was closing.
Yeah.
And the comment that he made, he said, I was all for cutting the government fat until the day I realized I was part of it.
Yeah. But that's that's why we have military bases in every single state. It's so that congressmen will always put money in the defense coffers because their district has an interest in keeping this military base or that military base or this school or that, that's why. I mean, the Defense Department, the Eisenhower speech, where he warned about the military industrial complex. That's what he was talking about. They were very, very smart. They put bases everywhere and created entire communities dependent upon those military bases and the people that live there and the people that work there and the people that shop there. And so you could never close a base because the town would go belly up. This is exactly what we didn't want. Before World War II, we had these small towns that, figured out a way to have a main street, figured out a way to have a dry cleaner, figured out a way to have a movie theater, figured out a way, but the military is not the answer. And so I get your point, but it's not my favorite, way to keep a community alive.
I mean, I'm not, neither pro or, look, we need a military and we need bases, whether it's, I don't want it to be politicized and be in certain states because someone's winning an election. Or it was the base removed because you had a Republican in power and the state of Illinois at the time was Democrat. I certainly don't want to see that. I mean, there shouldn't be favoritism with that kind of stuff. But, I'm in New York City, obviously, and I have two daughters. I'm a divorced father, and my daughters are 13 and 16 years old, and I was considering taking them to the Women's March tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be like. For me, myself, I don't mind going, but taking my daughters to a protest and if there's counter-protests and stuff like that, I haven't made up my mind what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I hear you. But, you could go and, make sure that wherever you are, that everything's copacetic and that you feel secure, and then bring the kids outside. You know what I mean? But as long as listen, I've been to many of these protests. My protesting years are probably behind me, but I did my thing. I took part in every protest that I possibly could during the Bush administration to try and stop the war in Iraq, and I slept in Lafayette Park, and there's always some contretemps, but I never felt unsafe. I never did. So I would take them.
All right. Yeah, I want them to win. I'm not.
You know who's
taking
going? You know
protest.
who organized a group? There's a mother of a 15 and a 16-year-old girl in Manhattan that works down on Wall Street, and she organized all her Wall Street women friends, women that make money as bankers, as traders, as brokers, all working down on Wall Street. And she organized all of them, and they're all going. It was a New York Times article yesterday how she rented buses, and everybody's getting on that bus, and she's taking her daughters. So if that helps you decide, then
All right, appreciate it.
All right, David on Long Island.
Hello, darling.
Hello.
I only found that you're back 2 days ago.
Oh, really? Well, welcome home.
Yeah, I was talking to a customer of mine. I said, God, I miss Sirius Left. I can't listen to it. It's not the same anymore.
Yeah, I know.
And she said to me, she says, well, Randy's still on. I said, no, she's not. She goes, no, you got to get the podcast. I said, what?
Yeah, you got to get the podcast. Actually, you can listen live for free. I mean, we didn't do it that, so people who...
Hey, listen, I'm going to tell you something. I prefer it. Listen, I love you. I'm glad you're back, darling. Anyway, let me just tell you why I called.
Yeah.
It told us the other day when I found you, don't put on the president thing for today. And so I was going channel surfing, and I put on Destination America. What a great channel, and the show was Monsters and Mysteries.
Oh, we have both here today now. So.
Boy, I thought it was the funniest freaking thing. I said, this is so apropos.
Yeah, it's perfect.
It really was. Also,
if you want to check out something really crazy, check out the History Channel lately. The History Channel is airing nothing but the rise and fall of Adolf Hitler over and over again.
I call it the Nazi channel.
But this is it is the Nazi channel, but this is what they're showing. They're showing the rise of Adolf Hitler over it, like on an endless loop, so you can hear the speeches and you can see how he did it. And it's such a cautionary tale. I mean, it's just an amazing thing now that they just keep rerunning it until like everybody turns off the news and migrates into the History Channel so that they can go, oh, wow.
I tell you that little kid though today reminds me of a little Adolf or a Damien.
Damien, oh my God.
I mean, I'm watching him. I saw some clips afterwards. I'm going, God, that's like little Damien.
Yeah, it is creepy.
Getting him ready.
Well, we have to show up. We have to be ready. We actually have to organize. And, I will tell you this. Obama didn't really, he's on vacation, right? A long deserved vacation. And I've been tweeting thanks to him, for 2 days now to thank you for your dignity, for a scandal-free presidency, for your intellect, for your wisdom, for your ability to save the automobile industry, for your ability not to, to get us out of war, your ability to, restore the economy to growth. When he came in, I remember we were all talking about who would want to be president now. And he's just been handed a growing economy. He's been handed a good jobs numbers,
But he's already taking credit. I saw a commercial this morning on MSNBC.
No.
Thank you. It was yesterday. Thank you, President-elect, for saving jobs for some kind of fuel energy company. and there's a bunch of other commercials, including I saw a coin commercial the other day for President-elect Obama. I was like, what? But there's a lot of weird commercials lately.
President Obama.
Yeah, no, President-elect, Trump.
Yeah.
Or Trump, whatever the hell. But I'm watching all these stupid commercials, like they're all pro-Trump, and then there's a BP commercial coming out now. I noticed this morning for safety, we're the gas company of the future. I'm going, God, it's like things already are changing because of this Trump guy. I don't know. It's just weird to me.
Well, you know what's weird to me? Things are already changing. You got Greta Van Susteren on MSNBC now.
I can't. I try watching it. I can't watch it.
It's just it's a mind-blowing thing. It's truly a mind-blowing thing. But yeah, change has already come to America. So,
I hope that when it's all said and done, people see me as a strategic thinker, and that I'm able to stay focused on a strategy.
We're back to that. You know what? One of the great things you could thank Obama for, this man, take heart in this, okay? He has been sandwiched in between the two worst presidents in American history. He's going to come out in historical terms like a rose between two turds. You'll see. History is going to smile upon Obama, and he knows this. And so what I was saying is he went on vacation. He went to Palm Springs with Michelle, obviously needs a rest after 8 years of taking us out off the edge of the cliff, a Great Depression, bleeding 800,000 jobs a month, 2 wars, trillions of dollars spent, negative growth. I mean, the numbers are staggering. In my homework section, I put today Bush's presidency and Obama's presidency by the numbers, so you can compare. Okay, and I got to tell you, he is not really going away. You remember Organizing for America? It's now back, but it's Organizing for Action. It's still OFA, and I've already signed up. I made a little donation. I'm ready to be called upon. And any organization, that needs to be done, they tell me what to do and where to send, and I will be there, and I will send you, and you will meet. Okay, we're not sitting this one out. I couldn't sit out Bush. I came back because it looked like to me Trump was going to win, and so I came back in July. And that's what this show is, It's but honest to God, man, I just we have a president currently, right now, right at the second, who's under investigation by 6 law enforcement and intelligence agencies. We have a cabinet that can't get filled because these people failed to disclose hundreds of millions of dollars worth of assets offshored in tax-protected Cayman Island sanctuaries. We've got a president who either over the weekend or Monday might repeal the DREAM Act, might repeal, the protections that sanctuary cities are able to extend to people who are working their asses off, raising children who are born here but aren't yet citizens or don't have green cards. You could see, the rounding up. You could see it. I don't know that they'll do it. I really don't. We have to watch and we have to wait and we have to act. Brother David.
Sister Nasty Woman, it's Brother Bad Hombre.
Hi, Bad Hombre.
Happy Installation Day.
Yes.
Hi, chat room.
Hi, chat room.
Hashtag stay and fight. I'm standing here on the back balcony looking over my backyard here in the heartland, quote unquote. And it's rainy and drizzly, and it's like God's crying.
Yes.
It's kind of like God's crying on what 27% of us seem to have wrought. And it's going to be up to the other 70+% of us to withstand, prevail, and push through it somehow. Streep Davis, 2020. That's my story since the Gilded Globes, and I'm sticking to it.
Oh, that's good.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We got to look at a future, or at least imagine it, in order to have any chance of getting there. I cannot tell you the calls. I literally am legally bound not to be able to tell you the calls, but I cannot tell you how the attitude around what's happening with the Affordable Care Act or not has already started to creep in. It's more than creep. It's like a waterfall.
Yeah, well, the Affordable Care Act is more popular than President Trump is. It's amazing. He has the lowest approval rating of any president ever to be installed. I mean, nobody likes him. Absolutely nobody this is going to be a fiasco for him.
Yeah, it is.
For him.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And the minute he took that oath today,
he was in violation of it. You know that, right?
Automatically in violation on so many levels, in so many directions. It's systemic. No, we're going to have President Pence.
No, he was. He was in violation, and we may not have President Pence because.
And then there's that because he could have been in collusion too.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. If he was part of the Trump team, and the Trump team was advising both of them, and he was getting information from Roger Stone and his Russian connections, or Carter Page and his Russian connections, or Rex Tillerson and his Russian connections, or Paul Manafort and his Russian connections, then he's not eligible either. We get 2 for 1.
Yet. No,
now,
it's true.
The only thing that would take out only Trump is, Gloria Allred is proceeding with the lawsuit against Donald Trump for this woman.
Right.
And, that would require that Trump be deposed. And if he doesn't tell the truth under oath, remember Paula Jones, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. We go right back there. So
history is repeating itself in so many levels at once. I'm not sure it's the quickening or, as so many of my friends have said, this big collective nightmare that we're just knowing we're going to wake up from.
Yeah.
But we have to splash the cold water in our face and no, this is it. Sinclair Lewis was a prophet, and so was George, the Orwell. And we're still here. As I've said to the Howard every time I've called in, now was always all we ever had, but it's acutely so now. So be present. As you said, be vigilant. Did you read Rather's Facebook post today?
No, but I read Rather's other piece that he wrote the other day where he said it's called Preparing for President Trump.
Yep.
That was amazing. That was amazing.
He wrote a post-installation one today. You just go to his page and check it out.
Okay.
He just nails it,
All
as
right.
usual. As do you.
Okay.
Love you and the Howard and the Loretta and Captain Leary and Team Randy and buy a stinking podcast, people. There, I've done my acolyte's duties.
Thank you.
Mwah.
Yes, you have. Bye. Thanks, brother. No, seriously, buy a podcast. You have to. We're installing, massive amounts of equipment over the weekend and Monday. And every time I write a check, I shake. It's like, it's sort of a, palsy-ish thing. It's pretty scary. It's pretty scary to keep on, investing in this, knowing that net neutrality may go away and that we may have to raise even more money to be in the fast lane of the internet. You know what I mean? It's going to be daunting, but I know you're there. I will be here. We will continue to be vigilant and organize. Because this man is currently under investigation and in violation of the Constitution. Article 1, Section 9.
For a commercial-free, on-demand, whenever, wherever listening experience, visit randyrhodes.com for your personal premium podcast today.
Now that Trump's on his way to the White House, how long do you think it's going to take him and his Wall Street cronies to completely wreck our economy? This Trump administration is greedy, full of avarice, and awful, and the damage they're going to do to the economy will become legend. They are going to make the financial crisis of 2008 look like a pool party. And once again, working class Americans, you're going to get soaked. And that's why now more than ever, it's time to diversify your investment portfolio. Gold's low correlation with stocks and bonds can help you in times of uncertainty. Just call my friends at ITM Trading today, get a free gold kit, and learn why gold survives every government, every currency, and every economic crisis. Call ITM Trading at 1-888-OWN-GOLD for guidance from their precious metals experts. They've helped tens of thousands of people navigate this market, and they have the best reputation in this industry. So call 1-888-OWN-GOLD, 1-888-OWN-GOLD.
And the President of the United States is...
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
On the heels of the inauguration in our nation's capital, join your sexy liberal friends.
Some, I assume, are good people.
The Sexy Liberal Comedy Tour begins 2017 on Saturday, January 21st at Sidney Harmon Hall in Washington, D.C.
I am so saddened to hear that.
The election was no joke. It's real. But the Sexy Liberal Comedy Tour helps you shake off your blues and get you motivated to carry on and come together. Join Stephanie Miller.
Just very strong and very smart.
John Fugelsang.
Well, he's a very talented guy.
And comedy duo Frangela.
Hey, both of them. I mean, this is a very talented family.
Come laugh with your sexy liberal friends in Washington, D.C.
Just tell me where and when, and I'll show up.
Saturday, January 21st, 8 o'clock p.m., Sidney Harmon Hall. Tickets available by calling 877-487-8849 or at shakespearetheater.org. Sexy Liberal Comedy Tour 2016 in Washington, D.C.
This is Tara Devlin, a.k.a. Pterodactyl from RepublicanDirtyTricks.com on the Progressive Voices channel on TuneIn. And this is my 2-minute tirade. The pre-ACA American healthcare system that Republicans just voted to reinstate was twice as expensive as the next most expensive system. Bankrupted millions, killed thousands, left millions out, and consistently ranked last or next to last in all positive measures. But it made a few people very rich. So that's the system Republicans are inflicting on us again. Just enjoy living in a country where someone can be inflicted with a type of elephantitis lymphedema only seen in so-called third world countries because he can't afford to see a doctor. Yeah, that's true. An American man living in Las Vegas named Wesley Warren Jr. pre-ACA had no insurance and also elephantitis of the scrotum. He tried to raise money to have it removed, but he only got $2,000. You know, sort of like a Republican health savings plan, which is nothing but an excuse to give more money to banks while placating you with false security. So his scrotum grew to 132 pounds, which is rather exceptional for a scrotum, I must admit. It kind of makes sense that he's an American. Well, like Republicans predict, the free market stepped in, not to heal the man, but to create a reality TV show called The Man with the 132-Pound Scrotum. So it's like a win-win. Corporations get to profit on our misery some more, and we get a reality TV show to distract us from the lumps on our bodies that we can't afford to see a doctor about because we can't take a day off for work because we can't lose the employer-sponsored insurance. So thanks, Republicans, for teaching us the dignity of working with a cancer diagnosis and making America exceptional again. Exceptionally sick. This is Tara Devlin from RepublicanDirtyTricks.com. Go there and find links to my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram communities, and keep listening for 2-minute tirades on demand on the Progressive Voices app or on the Progressive Voices channel on TuneIn. We stick together, we win.
All things Randy at RandyRhodes.com.
Go for launch.
Speaking truth to power, The Randy Rhodes Show.
Lefty, or Letty in Southern California. Letty?
Yes,
Hi.
here I am. Hi, Randy.
Hi, Letty.
First time caller.
Oh, wow. Hi. How are you?
I'm from good. I used to listen to you here in California, but then the right wing took over, and I lost you for a while and just found you back in December, so really glad I did.
Oh, thank you.
I guess I'm just calling to rant. I thought I'd be okay with it by today, after the election results came in, and I'm not over it. I think I'm more upset than ever, and I'm just wondering where our common sense went,
Yeah.
What I don't even have the words. I feel like we need to teach critical thinking from grade school and high school and on, because this is just so ridiculous. I mean, and I understand people are saying, there's people are hurting, and I understand that. I was on that boat before Obama came on, and I can say that my situation has just been so much better now, and now I'm scared. I am terrified. I don't know what's going to happen in the next 4 years. I have 2 daughters. Luckily, I live in California, so for now, if they ever need to go to Planned Parenthood for an unwanted pregnancy, they can go. But I don't know in the future if that's going to be possible.
No,
they're going to college.
They are defunding Planned Parenthood. There is no doubt about it. It will be part of the ACA repeal. Every one of these cabinet members, from Tom Price at Health and Human Services to you name it, they all are after Planned Parenthood. Paul Ryan talked about it the other day. He said there's community health centers. You should use those instead. And Planned Parenthood is no longer going to be funded. And, the hell with a cancer screen. And, what was interesting is the day after he said it, there was a couple of newspaper articles about where are these these health clinics he's talking about. And one of the Planned Parenthood clinics that was, going out of business forwarded 5,000 medical files to one of these health clinics. And only 50 of those women showed up at the health clinic because they're looking for contraception. They're looking for, and the clinic doesn't provide any. And the guy at the clinic was saying, I'm so worried for these women. I got 5,000 medical files and only 50 women have ever showed up. And I don't know where they're getting their health care. I don't know how they're getting their health care. And then in the next paragraph, it said that in that same community, there was this rampant resurgence in gonorrhea. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And I just, my concern is this. I understand right now everybody is very upset and everybody's out and, marching and all this. But then, as the days go by, people kind of start forgetting what's going on and they don't stay informed. And but I mean informed, I don't mean, watching, Fox or, MSNBC or any of that. I mean really digging and looking for information. And that's my concern. Most people don't do it.
Okay,
and
well, so here's the greatest thing in the world, I think. And that's why I do it every day. And it's, I could skip it, but I don't. Every day at RandyRhodes.com, in the homework section, are nothing but mainstream Pulitzer Prize winning, Peabody Award winning journalists. That's all that's in there. We don't include, crazy stuff, okay? None of it is fake news. Everything is from a newspaper, either the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post, the Chicago Tribune, the LA Times, real newspapers, serious, gatherers of journalism, investigative type journalism, all kinds of, reputable, true, fact-checked sources. We're not going to, I'm not including, blogs. I don't even include, even though it's not a bad place, but Huffington Post. I don't even include that. I just go straight to the front pages of the Washington Post, the Guardian, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal. I have subscriptions to every one of those. Every day I read the entire newspapers, all of them, and I put the key pieces of information together. And so that's really what people need to do. Stop with the television is fine for opinion. Okay, MSNBC, they're more honest than Fox in this way. They say they are the place for politics. So they are already telling you it's just one big long debate based on facts, okay? But it's one big long debate. And they're very honest about it, and you have to say, okay, that's what that is. Fox, on the other hand, they say they're news, they're not news. They are also another place for nothing but political debate. CNN is a global news organization, and they do the best job of all the news organizations, I will say. But if you want to choose what you're interested in, rather than the 3 stories CNN will cover in a day, or the 1 story, God forbid, MH370 disappears, you got 6 months of 1 story all day, every day. So that is a good resource for everyone. It's just a compilation. People like to go to the Drudge Report. That's a compilation of junk. Mine is a compilation of real, serious news. And I just need people to read. I can't make them read.
That's the problem, Randy. I'm just so tired of people being more concerned about what the Kardashians are doing. But in the meantime, they're losing their insurance. They're losing, the financial, ability to send their kids to school. And it's just like a big old little shiny object where everybody follows celebrities and they don't care about what's really going on until it's too late. But
I care about celebrities. I love my junk TV. I love my trash TV. I do marathons of it, on Saturdays, sometimes on Sunday too. I watch Homeland and I watch Housewives and I watch The Voice. I love The Voice. I mean, I love these shows. I watch them, but not during the week, because during the week is when the real work of governing happens. And so that's when people need to know this one's under investigation and here's what's for, and here's what for. And this one over here, there's the intercepts. There's actual audio now. And the president that was elected today is indeed under investigation. The president that was elected today in the homework section, there's a compilation of all kinds of legal scholars from every walk of life, from every stripe, okay? From, conservatives to Lawrence Tribe, all constitutional scholars that all agree that this president is already in violation of Article 1, Section 9, the Emoluments Clause, because he took the oath of office and didn't divest himself of his businesses, which are mostly foreign deals, foreign licensing deals in Dubai and other countries. So he's already enriching himself. I mean, foreign countries will inure money to his benefit, and that violates the Emoluments Clause. So, there's room for everything in your life to have a full and fun life. But this is something governing, ourselves is hard work. So I can't make people read, but I can put it out there in one nice little package, and it's called the homework section at randyrhodes.com. And I don't get anything if you read it. It doesn't cost anything to read it. Nothing at all. But it's there every single weekday. Every day it's there. Every single day. Randy in Massachusetts.
Hello, Randy.
Hello, Randy. How are you?
Just so you know, this is the first time in my life I ever called a show.
Oh, wow. Thank you for doing it.
And no problem. You brought up something that had occurred to me, too. I love how people talk about how Trump's going to undo Obama's legacy. Let me just point out something. There are historians, and I love history. There are presidential historians who love to talk about how great a president was and how bad presidents were. And among the bad ones, they talk about someone like James Buchanan. He was awful. The problems in that country, he didn't address at all. He just totally skirted it. He's one of the worst. And then a few years go by, you have Andrew Johnson. Oh, he was terrible. He was the first president to face impeachment. And by one vote, he did not get impeached.
That's right.
Awful. There was some guy between them. I don't remember his name. But the point is that those two are considered really bad presidents.
So was Woodrow Wilson. He was horrible. He was horrible.
Woodrow Wilson?
Yeah, World War I, income tax. I mean, Woodrow Wilson, was just a terrible president.
Of course, I'm talking about the mid-1800s.
Yeah, and in our lifetime, though, just to stay contemporary, in our lifetime, Bush Jr., just awful, just crashed our economy, took us into 2 wars, undid so many protections that people warrantlessly wiretapped Americans. Just a terrible, terrible, terrible president. And then we had Barack Obama, and I mean, the contrast between the two men, experiencing job losses of almost 1 million jobs a month, bleeding out of our economy. 40% of everybody's wealth decimated, lost, and sent overseas to, Deutsche Bank and, hedge funds and Cayman Islands, stashes of cash. I mean, the whole undoing of the American dream happened in the 8 years of Bush Jr. And then you had Obama, who brought everybody back to wholeness. Do you know? I mean, literally. And on top, and the cherry on the cake of the day was he was going to help us buy health insurance if we could if we were people who had pre-existing conditions or chronic conditions or had lifetime caps on our policies, and we're going without our pills or we're going without health insurance even though we needed it, and to demean him like Trump did in this speech today in front of him. And say that all the previous, administration did was enrich itself at the expense of the people was so vile and so wrong and so misplaced. And it's like, somebody was very defensive today. Do you know? It just reeked.
It's just so terrible.
Well, he's a bad man, is what it. I mean, everybody's searching around for the right words. He's just a bad man.
I love I love these so-called pundits on TV talk about, well, now that he has the power, maybe he'll see the light and maybe he'll do great things. I'm thinking, no, bad people do not become good presidents.
Well, you know what? I don't know why they're guessing at what his intentions are. You could see from the cabinet that he's,
That's awful.
They're awful people. They're the worst people in the world for those positions. Rick Perry wanted to destroy EPA. Rick Perry wanted to destroy the Department of Energy. Now he's in charge of it. You have Scott Pruitt, who is suing the EPA as the head of the EPA. So that makes him the plaintiff, the defendant, the judge, and the jury in his own lawsuits. It's just so frighteningly sick. So why are they sitting around guessing at what Trump's intentions are?
There was one specific time during
he's showing you. They say sometimes people don't tell you everything, but they show you everything. They tell you nothing, but they show you everything. Right. Trump has shown you exactly who he is. When he picked these people, he picked the head of ExxonMobil who won't recuse himself from ExxonMobil-related decisions as the Secretary of State? Really?
Yeah, that's a little ridiculous.
And then, just to show how ignorant Trump is, okay, at that dinner, I don't know how many people caught this, but he had this dinner with all the cabinet members, and he was addressing them the other day. And he said, not the donors' dinner last night, $1 million to be in a room with him. But okay, so you had this cabinet, thing, and he was talking about Nikki Haley, and he's going, "Where's Nikki? Nikki's here. She's going to be our ambassador to the UN." And he goes, "Nikki, when I send you to Russia and I send you to China to negotiate our deals, that would be the Secretary of State, not the UN ambassador who stays in New York." I mean, the man keeps showing you who he is.
Well, if there's any time that people don't understand that he never wanted to be president.
No, he never thought he would be either. Nobody did, except I did. Well,
Colorado, remember?
See, what?
In Colorado, he got the second most votes among all the Republicans, but he got none of the delegates because he didn't do his research about how you get delegates.
Oh, I know.
Colorado.
I know. I know. He really doesn't understand anything. He took an oath to uphold the Constitution. I bet you he never, ever read it. And even if he did, he would still need to have a constitutional class. And I would love if Obama would teach it to him because he's a constitutional professor, before he was president. But this man does not understand what he swore to do today. He just doesn't understand. That's why he can make stupid statements like Nikki Haley when I send her out to negotiate our trade deals. UN ambassador stays in New York, right in Midtown, right there on the East River. That's where she'll be. She's not going to China. She's not going to Russia. She's not negotiating anything. It's so bizarre. And they don't talk about it on the TV. They don't talk about it. You have to kind of read and listen and ask very hard questions like, wait a minute, isn't she the ambassador to the UN? Isn't that in New York? Wouldn't the Secretary of State be the one that goes to Russia and China? Yeah, you would be right. Anastasia in San Diego.
Randi, radio goddess.
Yes, radio supplicant. Hello.
Yes, I've been listening to you since Air America 2003 days. So, God is pissed, man. We are having an end of the world type storm out here this day. It looks like the world's going to end. So,
well, the world as we know it, the American contract, whatever you want to call it, between the governing and the governed, it's over. It's broken. It's actually, we've been severed. We've been cut. I mean, it was exactly the opposite of what he said today. I wish he meant anything that he said today, because any one of the things he said today would be a good thing. But
agreed.
Yeah, but he's already shown you.
Yeah, my two darling nephews, ages 21 and 24, and my father all voted for that cretin. And I love my nephews and I love my father, but it's going to be a long time before I forget them, I have to say.
Yeah, that's painful. It is.
It is. It's very personal. Anyway, I wanted to give a shout out to my San Diego peeps because I have a little meetup group named after our whore friend, Stephanie Miller. We've got the San Diego Sexy Liberal meetup group. Aww. And we're marching tomorrow. There's about 25 of us marching tomorrow. So I wanted to give a shout out to all my San Diego peeps. Please join us. Come to our little meetup site at San Diego Sexy Liberals, and we'll be marching. We're going to meet tomorrow at 9:15 at the Teatro Opera, and we're going to march with everybody else in solidarity. So we would love it if other San Diego people or Orange County people join us. Please, let's show them we are the resistance, and it starts today.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Thanks for getting up early tomorrow. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Randy.
Thanks,
love
Anastasia.
Love you most.
I love you more.
Okay.
Thanks.
Mwah.
Mwah. Yeah, we're feeling it. We're feeling it. Maybe I should make you laugh a little bit. I'm going to show you something on the other side of the break that is just, it's a scream. It's hysterical. And it goes really well with the intercepted Russian communications part of inquiry into Trump associates New York Times front page story today. Because they are looking into Roger Stone as one of those associates. And they say that they have audio tape, which I cannot wait. So I want to show you Roger Stone, who's being investigated along with Carter Page and Paul Manafort, of course, who was the lobbyist for Viktor Yanukovych in Ukraine, who then fled to Russia because the Ukrainian people kicked him out. But Roger Stone is just a scream. I got to tell you, this man is such a case, such a head case.
Clear for takeoff. Randy Rhodes Air Force. Air Force. RandyRhodes.com.
I'm David Pakman, host of The David Pakman Show on the Progressive Voices channel. Check out this clip from my show. On day one, Donald Trump will be breaking a campaign promise. Donald Trump planning to get right to work, Pat, after being inaugurated, after taking the entire first weekend off. Trump has said before that after that he would not be taking vacations. He said during a 60 Minutes interview with Leslie Stahl, I'm not going to take a salary and I'm not going to take vacations. But it turns out, according to what he said to the Times of London, that his first vacation will start immediately upon being inaugurated. Here is Donald Trump's quote. One of the first orders I'm going to sign day one, which I will consider to be Monday, as opposed to Friday or Saturday, right? I mean, my day one is going to be Monday because I don't want to be signing and get it mixed up with lots of celebration. But one of the first orders we're going to be signing is going to be strong borders. Hey, I say take a 4-year vacation. Wake up on Tuesday, November 3rd of 2020 and wonder what the hell happened. It's sort of like on day one of freshman economics. You show up to class after preparing all summer and you get the syllabus and then go home and say, I'll worry about this next week. Maybe I should be happy because it's 72 extra hours before Trump starts to undo all of the accomplishments of the Obama administration. The entire campaign talking about my first day, going to do X, going to do Y, we'll start building the wall, we're going to repeal Obamacare. If all of those day one promises were so crucial to making America great again, why would you delay 72 hours before getting started on that stuff?
Yeah, I could see him not wanting to work on Inauguration Day itself because there's this big celebration and then there's the inaugural balls after it.
Oh, yeah.
But the next day, even though it's a Saturday, get right to work.
Get to it, right? Get to work making America great again. Sad, low energy, really. And as a reminder, Trump called out President Obama in 2012. Here's the tweet of Trump's from 2012. When will Obama next go on vacation if he wins the election? The day after. I was getting bummed out this morning, realizing most voters don't care about consistency and all this bogus nonsense from Trump. And then I realized maybe that's not true. After all, Trump did only get 46% of the vote. Most Americans rejected Trump. Almost half Americans didn't even vote. Just to make this super, super clear to you, we've been hearing from Trumpists, hey, David, he hasn't broken any promises yet because he's not president yet. Yes, he said some Obamacare provisions are very good. Yes, he said forget about prosecute Hillary, all that stuff, but he's not president yet. On day one, Trump will actually be breaking a campaign promise. And you know, now that he's passed off the businesses to his sons, his weekends maybe will be free to spend time with his sons. Not talking about business, of course, they would never ever do that. Hey, sit out every weekend for all I care. That's 2/7 of his presidency. If he sits out every weekend, that chops off 13 months out of the 4-year term. 2 years and 11 months of Trump presidency is way better than 4 years, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's also important to point out that presidents have very different working styles. So while Jimmy Carter worked around the clock, Reagan was done by 5. But given that he's criticized past presidents for not working hard enough, it's more incumbent on you to actually get the job done.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. I mean, it's just, as we heard from his ghostwriter of Art of the Deal, Tony Schwartz, Trump doesn't have the attention span to even read a single book. There's just no way that this guy is going to be able to hack it. I look forward to tracking the data and numbers with you for the next 4 years.
You've been listening to part of the David Pakman Show on the Progressive Voices channel. For full audio and video podcasts, interviews, and more, go to davidpakman.com and check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The David Pakman Show.
The Randi Rhodes Show is brought to you by our partners at ITM Trading. Call them at 1-888-OWN-GOLD and ask for a free gold kit. 1-888-OWN-GOLD.
All things Randi at randyrhodes.com.
Go for launch.
Speaking truth to power, the Randi Rhodes Show.
All right, this is hysterical, I promise you. This is Roger Stone appearing on the InfoWars. Wait till you hear his story. This is his story. He's sticking to it. Now, remember, he is under investigation. He's part of these intercepted Russian communications investigation. It's a counterintelligence investigation that is looking into the business dealings that some of President Trump's present and past advisors have had with Russia. Now, it's Paul Manafort, Carter Page, and this guy right here, Roger Stone, that they're looking into, okay? Intercepts between him and the Russia's Federal Security Service, the KGB, okay? Here, check this out.
I became extremely ill. This manifested itself in over 14 days of high fevers, delirium, night sweats. I had lesions on my chest and my face. I had extreme diarrhea. I had vomiting that could not be stopped.
It's called the flu.
Medication. I became exceedingly dehydrated, and I ultimately had to be hydrated with IV and saline injections.
And as you said, the last time you were in the hospital was when you were born.
Yes, I am a generally healthy person.
You're a marathon runner, whole 9 yards.
I have been a runner and a weightlifter. I am very careful in my diet. I'm a user of the InfoWars supplements.
Oh, there you go.
I have been treated with acupuncture by perhaps the greatest acupuncturist in the state
I thought you were
Florida,
healthy.
if not the United States. Dr. Quinn Martielli, who was trained in China. I am generally a healthy person. In the beginning, I thought I had a routine stomach virus, and this was, a pain in the neck, given my deadline on the book and the fact that my entire family was headed to Florida for Christmas.
And we even had to cancel one of our important meetings we were going to have in Florida.
Yes, indeed. So I ultimately went to the doctors at Mount Sinai Hospital in Miami Beach, my own personal physician. They conducted extensive blood tests. Those blood tests were passed on to CDC. The general consensus is that I was poisoned. I was poisoned with, they now say, a substance that may have been polonium or had the characteristics of polonium. This made me exceedingly ill. The conjecture of all the doctors was that I did not receive a large enough dose to kill me, but I have never been this ill. Now, who would want to do this to me?
Oh, my God.
I am an enemy of the deep state. I think people know that.
The deep state.
I was an insider in American politics. I was close to power in 9 presidential elections. Everything Glenn Greenwald says is true. The Republican, Democrat, Bush-Clinton deep state has manufactured this Russian fraud. They have compounded it by taking a clearly fabricated document, a document that has traced to a political consulting firm, Fusion, which was pushing this, to a gentleman, Christopher Steele, who created this fabricated document.
And they're admitting that Jeb Bush was financing this, but also others. What's your intel on that?
I believe that this document was actually financed by Dan Senor, who is a neocon lackey of Mitt Romney. I believe that this piece of poison, this total falsehood about Donald Trump, was peddled to every reporter in the country.
Was this released as Romney's revenge?
I think this was Romney's revenge. And the irony of this, of course, Alex, is had Donald Trump selected Mitt Romney, Mr. Senor probably would have been the number 2 man at the State Department.
And instead, he's poisoning you with polonium. He says, now who would want to do this to me? Who would want to poison me with polonium? And he blames it on Bush and Clinton. Isn't that something? Yeah, Roger Stone was poisoned by polonium because he got dehydrated the other day, and he's probably 67 years old or something like this. Oh God, yeah. So he's running in Miami where it's like 87 degrees, and he gets all sweaty, a little nauseous, goes to the hospital, and they have to hydrate him with a saline solution, which is, of course, everybody knows the cure for polonium. Salt water.
And he's on the InfoWars supplement.
Yes, which also guarantees him good health. That and his acupuncturist from China guarantees that he will never become ill in his entire life. But yeah, he's claiming that there was an assassination attempt committed upon him by, and he never says who, he says the deep state. What the? With polonium. And of course, you show up at Mount Sinai in Miami with polonium poisoning, and of course, they're going to give you a bag of saline and tell you to, rest. It's so sick. They are such weird people. Just crazy conspiracy theory, bizarro world. I don't know what world we're in now. I'm not really sure. We all have to get our footing. But we just inaugurated a president who believes in conspiracy theories.
Donald, I need to come back to the topic we've been all screaming about here, which is Scalia. Was he murdered? What do you think of that?
It's a horrible topic, but they say they found a pillow on his face, which is a pretty unusual place to find a pillow.
After talking to his physician, and from what I was told, I came to the conclusion that, in fact, this was, in all probability, a natural death.
You are not allowed to be a president if you're not born in this country. He may not have been born in this country. His grandmother in Kenya said he was born in Kenya, and she was there and witnessed the birth.
In fact, I'll go a step further. The people that went to school with him, they don't even know, they never saw him. They don't know who he is.
Yes, in fact, I was born in Hawaii.
August 4th, 1961 in Kapiolani Hospital.
A heavy Arab population that were cheering as the buildings came down.
We asked many people on the streets today if they had seen any acts of celebration, and we couldn't find one person that had.
They did know it was coming, and George Tenet, the head of the CIA, told them that it was coming. So they did have advance notice, and they didn't really work on it.
I don't like this idea of saying that George W. Bush lied.
He's wrong, and he's I think, deliberately promoting those views in order to advance his political interests.
That's something that really only comes from the kook part of America.
Just the other day, 2 years old, 2.5 years old, a beautiful child, went to have the vaccine and came back, and a week later got a tremendous fever, got very, very sick, now is autistic.
There's simply no scientific evidence that links vaccines to autism.
Okay, we're in another world. I don't know exactly where we are. I don't know exactly, what the path forward looks like, but there will be one. There always is. We are at our best when we are challenged. That's the beauty of America. It is what makes us exceptional. The more crap they throw at us, the more we unite, the more we understand, the more we organize, the more we fight back. That's what America is. That's what America will always be. Currently, we have some very weird conspiracy theory type Mein Kampf reading, ignoramus as the 45th president of the United States. But we will be okay. We will get through this. We will do what we always do as Americans. We will push back. We will fight back. We will make our presence heard and known and felt. God bless you, and God bless America. Go to randyrhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.